beautiful day. Wednesday afternoon, final home game of 2011 for the Colorado Rockies. And that man on the right, Aaron Cook, will start today's ball game, the all-time winningest pitcher in Rockies history. Padres in town. They've won the first two, including a tight one last night, 2-1 over the Rockies. The Rockies want to send the home folks out with a good feeling this afternoon and a victory. Welcome upstairs. Glad as always you are with us, and thanks for spending a lot of time with us this summer on Root Sports. With George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman. I think it's appropriate that Aaron Cook,
Sure,
his future uncertain with the Rockies, but he'll have the baseball initially today.
Well, he has the ball today, and he also has it against the team that he's had a lot of success against. 14 wins, more than any active pitcher in the game today. So now, is it a year he wants to remember? Probably not. There's a lot of things that happened to Aaron Cook. He was hurt the first part of the year, came back, but then you look at all of his career over the Rockies, what he has meant to this organization. 205, you can see all the first seconds. It's there on the screen before you. The wins with 72, 1,300 innings pitched, and an all-star. And he went in and pitched very well in Yankee Stadium. We all remember that. So, it's a nice way for him to go out, for his family to go out, if, in fact, it's his last start in a Rockies uniform.
Yeah, and he's also the all-time winningest pitcher at Coors Field. So it'll be a good day, hopefully, for Aaron Cook. We're looking forward to watching him. When we come back, we'll talk about all of you, as the Rockies have averaged 36,000 fans every ball game. So a big thank you to all of you folks. Come on back with us.
Aaron Cook making his way to the Hill for the final home game of the season and potentially the final game in a Rockies uniform. He has handled his entire 15-year career in the Colorado Rockies organization with nothing but professionalism and class, and for that reason, the Colorado Rockies behind him will hope to get the win for Aaron Cook today, and certainly for the fans as well. This is the final day of Fan Appreciation Week here at Coors Field. For you, the fans, Colorado fans have been tremendous, averaging nearly 36,000 fans per game at home this entire season. Earlier today, I talked to the team about giving thanks to you.
I just want to tell all the fans out there, thank you for coming out and supporting us. I know it's been a rough year for both of us, but looking forward to 2012 and hopefully see everybody out there again.
Well, they've been great. I've only been here for 3 months, but the support that they've had, even though we've had some struggles here in the second half, they've been incredible. You come here and there's still 30,000, 40,000 people in the stands, and that means a lot to us as players.
I mean, obviously they came out in abundance this year. It was awesome to have them. I wish we could have played better, but I think in the next couple of years, hopefully we'll make them happy, and thanks for all your support.
I promise you, nobody is more disappointed in the performance than the Colorado Rockies themselves. They certainly have a lot to work on in spring training and are dedicated to you, the fan. After today's ball game, the entire team, along with the coaching staff and managers, will walk around this warning track to say thank you and goodbye for your tremendous support throughout the season. But before that, the Colorado Rockies certainly hoping to get the win today and avoid the sweep up by the San Diego Padres. When we come back, we are set for baseball. Aaron Cook taking the hill for potentially the last time. Stay with us.
Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Ford Super Duty, built stronger, tougher, better, built Ford tough. Ford Super Duty, drive one. By CenturyLink, Quest is now CenturyLink. Your link begins here. Find out more at CenturyLink.com. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at Southwest.com. Well, it's a perfect afternoon for the Rockies' home finale as Aaron Cook makes his way to the Coors Field mound. And I'm sure he has a varied amount of emotions going through his body right now as he gets set to face Cameron Maybin, batting .267. He's had a pretty strong second half. Here's the rest of Bud Black's Southwest Airlines lineup. Jeremy Hermito bats second. Chris Denorfia, who has yet to appear in the series, will be in left field. He'll bat third. Chase Headley, first time we've seen the Colorado native in this series. He's been battling an injury. Luis Martinez will bat fifth and do the catching. Alberto Gonzalez will be at short. Anthony Rizzo is in for Jesus Guzman at first base. Guzman a late scratch, and Andy Carino again at third base.
Well, we talked a lot about Aaron Cook. That's just numbers for this year, folks, but there's a lot more numbers about Aaron Cook and what he's meant to this organization, what he's done on and off the field, and you never know, he might be back again. They haven't slammed that door completely shut, but with all the injuries, he pitched in 17 games, 3 and 9, earned run average a little bit below 6. He has the winningest record, as you can look at a lot of these things, about San Diego, but again, a lot of that history was well before the last 2 or 3 years, because the last 3 years he's 3-2, 362 against them.
So here we go. First pitch of the ball game is that heavy sinker, and that looked like a good one. At 88 miles an hour, Chris Iannetta catching Aaron Cook. And this ball is lined to left field, and it's going to take one hop and kiss off the fence for a leadoff double for Maben. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. Dexter Fowler flanked by Eric Young and Seth Smith again in the outfield. Look who's back in the lineup. Troy Tulowitzki's at shortstop. Mark Ellis next to him. Kuzminoff and Pacheco on the respective corners, with Chris Iannetta behind the plate. Here's Jeremy Hermida. He has swung the bat well in the series. 3 for 7, including a double and a triple. He's driven in a couple of runs. And Hermida takes ball 1. 58 degrees our game time temperature, with a significant hint of fall in the air.
Feels pretty good, doesn't it?
It does. That's in. 2 balls and no strikes. The home plate umpire is Corey Blazer. Dana Demuth, the crew chiefs, at first. Kerwin Danley at second, and Doug Eddings at third. And that misses 3-0. The Padres had a 2-0 lead in the 9th inning yesterday. The Rockies scored a run, and they had the winning run on base when Willeen Rosario, after fouling off a couple of pitches, struck out against Heath Bell for Bell's 40th save. And of course, Matt Latos, the story of the game yesterday. 8 2/3 of outstanding pitching. So Hermida on 4 pitches draws a walk, and now you have first and second for Chris DeNorfia. When the Rockies score 7 or more runs in any ball game, go to Taco Bell the following day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies Taco Special. That from our friends at Taco Bell. So DeNorfia with 2 on and nobody out. He just returned earlier in the month from a month on the disabled list, and he lays down a bunt. He had a hamstring injury, and he's going to reach here. I guess the hamstring's healthy. When you bunt for a hit, saying your legs are good. Now the bases are loaded for Chase Headley and nobody out.
Pretty good bunt too. And again, is it a situation with early in the ball game you don't anticipate the bunt? You can see that Kuzminov's playing about 8 or 10 steps behind the bag at third base, so only opportunities a bare hand grab. You can see that on the slow-mo coming in, trying to get to the baseball, but DeNorfia beats this out. Now you got a bases loaded situation.
Well, what you have, George, are unconventional lineups. I know DeNorfia is hitting third, just like Dexter Fowler's hitting third in the Rockies lineup today for the 2nd straight day. They're not your prototypes in terms of 3-hole hitters. So the fact that they bunted there shouldn't be as big a surprise as it ordinarily would be.
But more of a bunt for a base hit. It was not a bunt for a sacrifice where you would draw in your third base, first base, thinking they were going to sacrifice first and third. It was a bunt for a base hit. So it gives it a different perspective as far as setting up your defense for it.
Here's the 0-1 to Chase Headley, and this is hit in the air to fairly deep left field. Eric Young will make the catch, and he'll throw the ball in the direction of third as Maben comes home. And Chase Headley, just off the disabled list where he had a broken pinky, picks off his 44th RBI of the year. And the Padres, as they did yesterday, strike quickly.
44 and 23, I believe, when they score first in a ball game.
that'll be Luis Martinez.
Excuse me, 44-21 now when they score first in a ball game.
Luis has been back and forth between AAA and the big leagues this year.
Catcher's body. Very strong lower half, very broad shoulders.
And that misses 2-0. This is Martinez's first taste of the big leagues this season. Made his debut on July 15th. The Padres are not going to change their MO, George. They're going to win with pitching.
Pitching and speed, because you're not going to hit the ball out of the ballpark. You may have a guy come up like a Rizzo that may turn into a 15 to 20 home run guy. You're not going to see anything like you used to see at the old ballpark of Jack Murphy. A couple of guys hitting 30 and driving in 120. So you got to build it around speed, much like Whitey Herzog did with the Cardinals in the early 80s. It was all about speed on the turf.
3-1. And even guys that you wouldn't classify as speed demons will run, and that's one of the reasons that San Diego leads all of baseball in stolen bases, and they run a high percentage pick plays on it.
Now, to me, that would be a fun team to manage. And the reason why, think of all the hit and run, bunt, run, steals, things you could do differently. I think all those things would be a blast. Well, here's the pick play we've seen an awful lot ran by Tulowitzki this year. The throw was good. The runner was back quick enough.
I agree with you. I mean, it's a lot of fun. You know, the old Earl Weaver baseball, sit back and wait for the 3-run home run. But if you don't have a club like that, and most teams don't, especially in the National League, and now Cook's walked his second, and the bases are loaded once again. This obviously not how Aaron wanted to start here this afternoon.
Well, remember, there's all different packages available for you to rent a suite here at the ballpark. They have 20, 40, and full season suite packages. They're all now available for the 2012 season. Enjoy the same suite location, opportunity to purchase postseason tickets, and a lot of other great things here at the ballpark. So call the Rockies 303-312. I believe it's 2444.
Hermita's at third. Denorfia is at second, and Luis Martinez at first. That may have gone in Dan O'Dowd's suite, a couple doors down. 0-1 on Alberto Gonzalez. Hitting just .094 in September. This ball is well hit to left field. And right in front of the track, Young makes the catch, and that will work as the second sac fly of the inning. And Gonzalez has his 31st RBI, and the Padres have 2 runs. Two runs on 2 hits, the double and the bunt single. There's been a pair of walks.
Well, you can see why the Padres are excited about Anthony Rizzo because of what he did at AAA this year. 26 home runs, 101 RBIs in 93 games. Think about what I just said. 93 games, 101 RBIs. He hit .331 there. It just has not translated to the big league results that he had in Tucson.
Center field, and Dexter's going to have to field it on a hop. Another run comes home. That's just his 3rd hit this year with runners in scoring position. He was 2 for 27 coming in. And you start to wonder with Aaron Cook getting hit around here, George, and walking a couple guys. And Aaron typically doesn't walk a lot of guys. You know, he had the one appearance out of the bullpen, but hasn't started in a while. If he just is not
just
sharp, rusty.
Yeah, you're out of sync with your delivery, release points, all kinds of things. Try to search for a few things. You hope some balls get hit right at people. Unfortunately, that sinker's been up a little bit here in the zone. The 2 fly ball outs. Not been a ball hit on the ground yet.
And obviously that's not Aaron Cook. Andy Perino, the 8th man to come up here for the Padres in the first inning. Two-strike count on Perino. He was 0 for 4 in the ball game last night. This is Perino's 10th start since being called up. He had 315. 12 home runs, 56 driven in between San Antonio and Tucson this year. San Antonio, Double-A affiliate of the Padres in the Texas League. And this is going to drop. And it is 4-0. And going first to third is Anthony Rizzo. And Anthony Bass, the pitcher, is going to hit here in the first inning.
Long walk for Bob Apodaca to go out to the mound. Obviously, you didn't want this to go this way for Aaron Cook. A slicing line drive on a fastball away from him out into left field that allowed the run to come in to score. And now all of a sudden, very quickly, the Rockies are down after 4 hits, a couple of walks, 4-0.
Well, we already know it's not going to happen today. You're not going to get a quality start when you give up 4 runs in the first inning. Yesterday, Chassin gave up 2 runs, 1 earned in 6 innings. George, that was the first quality start for the Rockies since September the 14th, when Kevin Millwood was throwing in Milwaukee and gave up just 2 runs in 6 innings. After that, the Rockies starting pitching has been not good, with the exception of Pomerantz, who threw a very nice ball game but went 5 2/3, gave up 2 runs, didn't qualify as a quote-unquote quality
start. Of course, you
start.
know my feelings about quality starts. A quality start to me is when you get a W by your name or your team did, and I you know, that 6 innings 3-run thing I'm not a big fan of. Just because it's not a win or a loss, and did your team win? You know, you go 6 innings, give up 3 runs, lose 3-2. Well, for me, you know what? Wasn't a quality start.
Well, there haven't been many,
you know?
when your club's lost 6 in a row. However you want to define it. And right now the Rockies have just 68, again, quality starts, which is last in the National League. And Cook strikes out Bass. In the inning, though, 4 runs come around for San Diego. Their work cut out against Anthony Bass, and Eric Young hopes to get it started. 233 average. EY had a triple and a bunt single in last night's ball game. Here's the rest of the Southwest Airlines lineup for Jim Tracy. Final home game of 2011. Mark Ellis will bat second. Dexter Fowler for the second straight day will bat in the 3-hole. Then Troy Tulowitzki back in the lineup. We did see him late last night in the pinch hitting role. Seth Smith fifth. Jordan Pacheco, an RBI single in the 9th yesterday to drive in the Rockies' only run. Kevin Kuzminoff, Chris Iannetta, and Aaron Cook. Anthony Bass made his first big league start a few months ago, George, against the Colorado Rockies. And the last 24 appearances for Bass have been out of the bullpen, and here he is facing the Rockies again as a starter.
Yeah, and he's done a nice job when he came and did make that one start. Now down at AA, AAA this year, 7-4. Right-handers he handled brilliantly. Only gave up 4 home runs, 201 average. Left-handers got after him a little bit, 308 average. And 2 of the first 3 in the Rockies lineup left-handed.
San Diego will have Cameron Maben in center, Kristen Orphy in left, Jeremy Hermida is in right, Headley, Alberto Gonzalez, Andy Perino, and Anthony Rizzo around the horn, with Luis Martinez doing the catching. Headley on the grass about 75 feet away, guarding against the bunt. And the first pitch is in there, strike one. So Headley retreats just a step and a half, because there are some guys who will bunt even with 1 strike. And now at the 2nd strike, Headley turns his back on Eric Young and marches about 15 feet behind the bag. You can see his alignment there. Here's the 0-2. Just missed in. Windshield damage, call Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, or go to safelight.com. After the ball game, the Rockies will head to Houston, Texas. And this is hit to short. Gonzalez on the move. Four games set against the Astros. Astros have already played and lost in Cincinnati today. They fell 2-0 to the Reds. See Tampa at the stadium this afternoon, George, leading 2-1 over the Yankees in the 7th inning. Of course, we're keeping a close eye on both those wild card races. Here's Mark Ellis.
You're getting a lot of balls over there. It's the 2nd one in the game so far.
And that one just got hung up on the tray right in front of the suite. George, I'll be right back. Hang on.
Go. You got to show them how to do it over there? How did your I wanted to ask something. Did you put your catch on YouTube? Because it's on there.
Oh,
yes, it is.
First of all, listen to who you're asking about YouTube. Like, I'm capable of figuring out how to
Who's talking about it? I don't even have a computer. I don't own one. You got 3 sitting around you.
Gonzalez almost got sloppy with the throw. 2 outs. Oh, enough of this.
I'm telling you, it's on YouTube, but when you put it on...
You know what? Seriously.
Wait a minute. When you put it on, I want to help you out a little bit, all right? It's not a big deal, because I knew it was you, because I recognize you, because I've worked with you 23 years. But when you put it on YouTube, your name's not Goodwin. It's Goodman.
Oh, is it,
they got Goodwin
changed my name?
Yeah.
Right. Well, Alberto Gonzalez
set a record.
He has tied a major league record. 6-3, 6-3, 6-3. The Rockies go down in order against Anthony Bass.
4-0 early to the San Diego Padres as we make our way to the top of the second inning. I have a story about Aaron Cook and Chris Iannetta. When I talked to Chris earlier today about Cook potentially making his last start as a Colorado Rocky, he described him as an absolutely wonderful teammate. And he shared a story with me about when Chris was in Modesto and Aaron was down there making a rehab start. Chris Iannetta caught Aaron Cook in that rehab start. When Cook came back to the Colorado Rockies, he told the coaching staff how impressed he was with the job that Iannetta had done behind the plate. And Chris Iannetta credits Aaron Cook with a bit of being able to be called up to the bigs when he was. Now, when Chris was up here in Denver the night before making his debut with the Rockies, he was out having dinner with his family. Unbeknownst to him, Aaron Cook was at the same place. Aaron Cook bought the meal for Chris and his family, went over to the table and said, you know what, both of us can't be tired tomorrow. Make sure you get some sleep, because Chris Iannetta did catch Aaron Cook that next game, guys.
That's a nice story. Thank you, Alana. And it's a 2-2 count right now on Cameron Maben. Aaron Cook faced 9 in the first inning. And the only player in the Padre lineup that is 0 for is Anthony Bass. He's 0 for 1 striking out. Everybody else either got a hit or doesn't have an official at bat, i.e. they walked, or a couple of players had sac flies. Cook's best year in the big leagues, 08, his all-star season, 16-9 record, 211 innings. This is going to reach the seats down the right field line. AT&T trivia question on a Wednesday afternoon at Coors Field. Since the Rockies joined the league in 1993, that's the fewest number of pitches thrown in a 9-inning complete game in Major League Baseball. I think I know the answer to this. Out in front of the plate, it's going to be a tough chance for Iannetta. Got him. I mean, barely. Nice play by Chris Iannetta.
Well, the key to that whole play is staying calm, coming out of the box, get to the baseball, stay fundamentally sound. As most catchers, quite honest, have a decent enough arm, they can throw it at about 85 feet. Just what Iannetta did. He stayed under control, made a strong throw, got the out.
One 1-0 on Jeremy Hermida. He walked and eventually scored on a sac fly. That's in there, 1-1. You saw that very fine play by Chris Iannetta. His fielding percentage in .997 is tops in the National League. And he's got company with the Rockies, who've been a very strong defensive team again. Todd Helton not in the lineup today, .997 fielding percentage. That's #1 in the National League. Tulo, he's #1 at .993, which is the 8th all-time best single season, if it holds up, in history. And let's not forget Mark Ellis. I mean, Mark's first among National League second basemen who've played at least 50 games in the NL. He's at .996. And Cook strikes out Hermida.
Good breaking ball, put it right where he wanted to put it. Stayed up on top of it. Good bite, back foot. Difficult pitch to handle. But a very good location for Aaron Cook. Could you rewind and hit delete on the first inning, and let's start all over again?
Yeah. Chris DeNorfia had the bunt single, and he lines this ball to Smith in right. One guy we didn't mention, Carlos Gonzalez, top 5 among National League outfielders with a .996 percentage. 78 Express Toll celebrating 20 years of excellence. Well, the last 7 will come on the road, 4 in Houston against the Astros, and then the final 3 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoon right here on Root Sports from the city by the bay. The Giants hope those games are still important. Giants later on taking on the Dodgers.
Well, things still fairly tight in the wild card. That's one thing for sure. But as far as the division race goes, they're 6 back of Arizona right now. Excuse me, 5.5 back of Arizona. And they got 3 there this weekend, and out of the wild card, St. Louis just 2.5 back, and San Francisco 4.5 back.
Tulowitzki had a pinch hitting appearance last night. First time he's been in the starting lineup in a week, and Troy is not going to play the whole game today. Jim Tracy saying that before the ball game.
Well, it's a thank you to the fans. I mean, you know, this is something, Troy, there's not many players out there that would go to a manager and say, you know what, fans pay a lot of money. I'm one of the better players in the National League. That's not being egotistical. It's just being honest. I want to go out and try to get a couple of bats in and see what I can do with it.
He hits this pretty well to right, and in the middle of the track, Jeremy Hermida makes a nice catch. So Troy is retired. He'll bring up Seth Smith, and let's take you back to the first big league start for Anthony Bass.
Late break that Bud Black was talking to Drew about.
I thought that was you right there, George.
I think it was, so I'm not going to say anything. They're running tape. I'll just let it go because he got a lot of ground ball outs that day. He pounded the strike zone, had a very low pitch count.
And he did a very nice job. Seth hits this ball high and deep to center field, way back, and it is gone.
No, is it gone or did he catch it?
He catch it?
Look at
he did catch it. Oh, man. Are you kidding me? And he tricked us. Cameron Maben going over the wall.
Yeah, why's he got to act like he's disappointed after this? Now look at him. He's like, oh, man. Oh. And then he looks over at the bullpen, smiles. Yeah, I got it. I don't know if it had gotten out. It probably would have been right on the yellow line. You never know then. It might have punched its way on over the fence. Their bullpen sure got excited as they watched it. One other guy got real excited, and that was Bass on the mound, too.
It's hard to tell. I think he would have crept over. Two gone, 2 well hit balls, 2 outs though. Jordan Pacheco with a 1-strike count. RBI single last night, and this is a routine fly ball to right. So Anthony Bass has faced 6 and he's retired all 6. Padres 4, Rockies nothing. We move to the 3rd. efficiency inning. Second inning went much better than the first for Aaron Cook. Cameron Maben, a little squiver out in front of the plate. Iannetta jumped on it, then Jeremy Hermida was fooled on a breaking ball, and Chris Denorfia hit a fly ball to right. That's brought to you by Excel Energy. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save energy and money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. Chase Headley will lead things off in the third inning. Fountain Fort Carson had a sac fly his first time up, and that's an excuse me swing. And Headley's had a really solid year, and kind of incrementally, George, he's gotten better and better offensively. Not a power guy. Say where he's a tough out. This is going to be out of play. You get runners on base, Chase Headley really gives you a good at bat.
No, he really does. I mean, and again, he's going to play third base for you. He's going to make the plays. He's going to drive in the runs you need driven in. But you're right about the power side. What do you lose, Drew?
Nothing. He's got good numbers against Cook in his career, 8 for 22. And it's now full 3-2. That's 3 strikeouts now for Aaron Cook. It'll bring up Luis Martinez to answer our AT&T trivia question. Since the Rockies joined the league in 1993, what's the fewest number of pitchers thrown in a 9-inning complete ball game? I know where this question's going. Aaron Cook, July 25th, 2007. Carlos Silva, Minnesota in 2005, 74. That was the ball game in Seattle, wasn't it? Or am I thinking?
I was thinking it was here at home. I could be totally wrong.
You know what? It was here. I'm thinking of Josh Fogg's performance in Seattle.
And it was against San Diego.
Josh Fogg threw a ball game in like a minute or an hour 58 or something.
Well, you know, it's a quick game. Whenever you start the game and the sun's up, and you end the game and it's a night game and the sun's still up.
That was,
you know, it went pretty fast.
Yeah, that was the situation in Seattle.
Yeah. You know, Dougie always gives us these little side notes about people. Well, here's one about Aaron Cook. Since he made his major league debut on August the 10th, 2002, he has 72 wins. You know, we've talked about that. Most wins in Rockies history. It's also the same amount Pedro Martinez had since that time span.
Here's the 3-1, and that's off of Aaron. It'll be a base hit. And Keith Duggar's on his way to the mound.
And Jim Tracy and Bob Apodaca.
Get him on the hip.
That's a big time owie right there, folks. You know, right now, while your muscles are loose, you're moving around a little bit, you'll be fine. But when he lands in Houston tonight, he's going to have a big Charlie horse right there on the backside, and it's not going to be fun to deal with. Everything's going to start tightening up.
Cook will continue on. Alberto Gonzalez will come up. 1 out. Martinez at first base. Gonzalez had a sac fly, his first at bat. A couple of those in the first inning. Tulowitzki dives, can't get it. And it's a base hit for Gonzalez. Now runners at first and second for Anthony Rizzo.
Well, we talked about Aaron Cook's numbers, and again, we're going to give you some more numbers here about Aaron Cook and what he has done. Starts first, innings pitched first, wins first. I think that's some of the things. Complete games second. Aaron Cook's been something special to this organization, and drafted, raised kid. Pitched pretty well here, and he's had some adversity. He's had a lot of things get hurt over the course of time. No worse than the blood clots that were discovered.
Well, he first hit the big leagues in 2002 after being the Rockies' second-round pick in 1997 out of Hamilton High School in Hamilton, Ohio. The same hometown as his skipper, Jim Tracy. Rizzo hits it in the air pretty well, left center field. Young gets over and makes a catch. You know what? EY, to his credit, he's a very hard worker, has cleaned up his routes, George, to the baseball.
I just thinking the same thing, Drew. His angles that he takes, there's no more looks like a rope waving through the wind. I mean, this is something that he just breaks straight back to the spot, gets to the baseball. Now, you know, you can hit all the fun goes to an outfielder you want. Where I've noticed EY working hard has been during Rocky's batting practice. He clears out left field and plays it live off of the bat, and I think that's really helped him a lot.
This is pulled foul by Perino. Well, we've said it many times, and this is a great credit to Junior and how he was raised and growing up around the game with his dad, is that whatever success he has, and he's had a lot of success because you know what, he was a late round pick that's gotten to the big leagues. But however far he goes, if he doesn't make it to whatever level people, you know, want to see somebody make it to, it won't be because of lack of effort or lack of.
He works hard at it.
He works very hard at it.
He works, but then you know, I think what you have to recognize is where's my maximum ability to help somebody win a ball game. Well, with him, it's his speed, and I think he's starting to recognize that a little bit. Figuring out different ways to get on base.
0-2. Perino fouls this off. Andy had an RBI base hit in the first inning. 4-0 Padres. Our Geico quote of the day. Jim Tracy on Aaron Cook. He's made a lot of significant contributions to the success of this ball club over the course of the last few years, dating back to 2007. He deserves the opportunity. Of course, Trace was talking about Aaron, who had been removed from the starting rotation recently, making the final home start of 2011.
You know, I want to say something else about EY. Just because his dad played second doesn't mean he should have played second. You know, I mean, I'm just going to be honest. He had stiff hands, and he was stiff around second base. You know, when he finally moved into the outfield, it seemed like he got more relaxed and even more athletically defensively.
Good pitch by Cook. Aaron took something off, and he earned his 4th strikeout. Martinez and Gonzalez left on. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd. Rockies trailing 4-0 in the home finale. The first inning. Cook's been solid since then. As we go to the bottom of the third inning, Rockies looking for their first base runner. It's been a consistent theme, unfortunately, in this series. Hey, coming up in the sixth inning, we do this periodically, like every night, Toyota Talk. And you can join in, and we encourage you to join in. Text Toyota followed by a space, and in your comments, maybe questions to 720-720. But what we want you to comment on specifically today on Toyota Talk is this. Tell us your favorite home moment from the 2011 season. Tonight, or today, is game number 81 at home. What was your favorite moment, whether watching right here on Root Sports or perhaps spending the evening or the afternoon at the ballpark? Tell us your favorite home moment on Toyota Talk in the sixth inning. Kevin Kuzminoff will lead it off against his former club. 1-0. Anthony Bass making the start today for San Diego. Latos was virtually unhittable yesterday. Rockies had a bunt single and didn't get their second hit until the sixth inning, a 2-out triple by Eric Young. And then Corey Lubke had a no-hitter, George, going with 2 outs in the sixth inning. And then Mark Ellis hit the 2-run home run with EY aboard. That's the only hit the Rockies had against the Padres in game 1 of this series. And here's a sharp ground ball that's booted by Headley, but he comes back to get the out at first. So one former third baseman with the Padres thrown out by the current third baseman, Chase Headley. Headley was playing left field when Kuzminoff was at San Diego.
This is kind of a flip-flop deal. First inning all ground balls, second inning all fly balls. We're starting off with a ground ball here. Hit hard right at Headley. The pick and the throw to first.
Now Chris Iannetta. Chris today playing in his career best 107th game. Now for a CenturyLink high-speed pitch. Anthony Bass is run one up as high as 95. Aaron Cook in the upper 80s. Here's the 1-1. That's a ground ball to second. Perino's there. And now Aaron Cook. Rockies, after the loss yesterday to the Padres, season worst 14 below 500. They've lost 6 straight, and they're 27-41 inside the West. Like the Padres, the Rockies have done okay against the East and the Central. Rockies always seem to play well now, last 4 or 5 years, against the American League. But they have struggled inside the division. Even, George, when you look at the playoff seasons 09 and 07, it's not like the Rockies ran roughshod through the division.
No, they didn't. They didn't dominate. And that's where you look down and you see all the teams that are in first place, and then you go, okay, what are they doing in their division? And you know, like with the Yankees, they've had great success out on the road, but they're 7 games above in their division. You know, Detroit, same thing, but we're at 46-22 in the Central. Detroit, man, they're looking at 24 games above 500.
And I understand that phrase a little bit more because Minnesota, with all of their injuries, has not been a good team. There's some teams you can beat up on. For the Yankees, being 7 over, that's hard in that East, because the East is the toughest division in baseball.
You know, Texas, when they sit there and play against the West, Texas is 33-16 within their division. Tampa leads at 2-1 in the 8th right now over the Yankees. Drew said it last night, all those Boston people cheering up and down for that. Rizzo, can he make a catch? Nice catch.
Yeah, that's a really nice play. Very nice play and foul ground by Anthony Rizzo, helping out Anthony Bass, who's perfect through 3. 6 hits, 3 bagels across underneath for the Rockies. Anthony Bass will lead things off at the top of the 4th inning against Aaron Cook. Anthony Bass, and then the top of the order. Hey, a big thank you out, and I know I speak for George here, which I don't like to do. And I know I speak for Jeff Houston as well, and Alana Rizzo, because you're perfectly capable of speaking for yourself. No, in all seriousness, we have the most wonderful crew that we get to work with on all our home broadcasts here at Root Sports. Hey, Bo, give a big shout out to Bo, who's always working low first. Great camera crew, great technical crew in the truck. Yuli leading the audio team. Lou's up here most nights with us. There's Stevie Ray Vaughan, Stevie Brown. I like to call him Stevie Ray Vaughan. Anyhow, we want to thank all of you. Named Drew Anderson, named after Drew Anderson Sr. Does Drew have a shirt on? Does he have his?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he does. There's the Watch and Learn shirt signed by Mark Ellis. We told that story earlier. He called Mark Ellis hitting a home run.
But I will say, I'm going to just add to what Drew's talking about. All this crew we have everywhere that works with us, you really never appreciate. It's kind of like when you leave your house for a road trip and you come back home and you walk into your own house and how comfortable you are to sit down in your chair, your bed, drink it. That's the way Drew and I and Jeff and Alana and all of us feel when you walk back into this ballpark. You just feel at home. You feel very comfortable within the people you're working with. They are great, great people to have a lot of fun with. And
Brian
not only
Peters.
do we work with them, they're friends of ours.
Here's Raj. Now, we do have one bone to pick. See, the summer, there was a period of time where Sam Herniason was on the DL with a back injury. He had back surgery.
No,
and Raj was up here in the booth.
Wait. He had shoulder surgery.
Shoulder surgery. I got it confused with Dougie. Dougie had back surgery. Sammy had shoulder surgery. But anyhow, by the way, I'm going to be all over the place today. This is my favorite shirt Marino's ever broken out. A big thank you to Doug Marino, who actually runs the show up here. So I see it from the back when I came in today. I said, Doug, you're breaking out the tie-dye. You got your 60s look going again with the ponytail, which fits, right? Doug flips it around. He says, what are you talking about? This is a Brooklyn Cyclones jersey.
Exactly.
Now I want one. How could they wore that?
We had a Grateful Dead concert.
We got you, Sam.
Yeah, they sang the anthem, so all the guys wore the shirt. Doug bought that online. There's Sam. There's Sam. Sam peeked out. Sam peeked out behind the camera. Normally doesn't do that.
Well, while Sam was on the DL, Raj was up with us. Raj is versatile.
But all the guys, absolutely. You know, it's always fun to sit. Drew and I have been doing this for, well, we're not even going to mention 23 years because we're both really old. But we've been around each other for an awful long time. But all the guys that we work with, obviously, when you sit down next to somebody every single night, Jeff's here when I'm not. Thanks. Good. Thank you. I got 20. All the guys,
you're not getting it back either.
But all the guys we sent around, Alana, Tracy Ringlesby, Tom Helmer, Tavis, Kenny Miller, who runs the show from the office and out on the road with us, you know, to Mike Fox and Tavis, who produced, and Jim Armitrout here at home, and Tavis's wonderful wife, Susan. It's a crew.
Nicole.
It's a crew. I mean, they've been together for an awful long time, and it's a lot of fun to come to the yard every day. And even when the Rockies aren't playing well, folks, I will tell you this, this crew kind of helps guide Drew and I to make it fun for all of us, and hopefully make it fun for you at home to watch the game, even when the Rockies haven't won a baseball game in a while.
All of a sudden, Aaron Cook, by the way. Let's not forget Woody
Cyclops.
and Speedy.
That's Cyclops. No, that's Woody. Or is that Speedy? Is that Woody? Give me an answer. Woody?
Not Speedy.
No, that's Woody. See, it's going up and down. Woody, was that you? He'll answer you. They got full control of that. Let's go back to that. Woody, are you running that camp? Now they're going to be stubborn in the truck. Woody, is that you? Yep. Where's Speedy at?
That is Speedy. This has turned into a.
There's two guys down there, just so you know. There's two cameras
Wood,
down.
yeah.
Woody and Speedy.
Yeah, that was Speedy's camera, though. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Hermida. I was starting to say, George, all of a sudden, Aaron Cook has turned into, Tom Seaver. He's punched out 6 here in 3 2/3.
Well, thanks. Obviously, I said if you could hit the delete button out of that first inning, 4 hits, 4 runs given up, it'd be a whole lot different. Look at this, 25, I believe that's what that says. 25 in the first, and then 13, 19, and 12.
And the season high for Aaron, the 6 strikeouts, I should say, a season high for Aaron. Here's a 3-2 and another one. He punches out the side. He's punched out 4 in a row. 7 strikeouts for Cook. Let's get the offense cranked up. In nicely. Time to check in with Alana Rizzo. She's got today's Fast Cash Sideline Report. It's brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Hey, Alana.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, wait a minute. Where are you?
I am over here in, where am I? Left field. By the left field foul pole.
Did you say you're out in left field?
I'm always out of left field. Yes, I want to do an update for you, though, on Columbine High School graduate and now the Padres bullpen coach Daryl Ackerfeld, who is in the fight of his life battling pancreatic cancer. On October 7th, guys, he's going to have an exploratory surgery to remove a tumor. Now, he has already had 9 months of extensive chemotherapy. Now, if the tumor has shrunk enough to where it isn't touching a specific artery, they are going to try to remove it. If they can't do it, they're going to put him through some more radiation. He's starting to grow hair back, though, on his head. He has a goatee coming in. He has only missed a few games throughout this entire process because he says baseball is his sanctuary. It's the one thing that gives him a little bit of respite, a little bit of release from everything that he's going through. He has had a great time here on the field, and he has been in high spirits the entire time. So we continue to wish Daryl Ackerfeld the best of luck as he deals with this pancreatic cancer, guys.
Thank you, Alana. And I'm going to say one more thing. Let me tell you what. You know, you think 0 for 4 bad or whatever, you would never know it if you sat around him in the bullpen, or if you go in the locker room and talk to him. His passion and love for the game, and that's what Bud Black says. You know, he's only missed 6 days of baseball this entire year. Been in the ballpark every day, working hard, encouraging the younger kids. Tough season for them to deal with here, obviously, in San Diego. Daryl, a special person, man. Did they tell you the story, Drew, when they scouted him in college and he was pitching against Arizona State? Because you know he started at middle linebacker.
He was at Arkansas and then went to Mesa.
And at Mesa, they went out and they were playing Arizona State. Of course, that lineup was stacked with Barry Bonds and the whole group. They were beating him 3-1. All of a sudden they lay a bunt down in the 8th inning or 9th inning, 4-0, and Bonds was coming up next. And they're sitting up in the stands with about 5 or 6 scouting directors. After the guy lays the bunt down, very next pitch, he plunks Bonds right in the ribs, and about 2 of them go, "That's my guy. That's my #1 draft pick right there." Anybody that'll come out and do what this guy does and the way he pitches and what he accomplished, tough guy.
Well, we wish Daryl all the best. (2-0) on Mark Ellis after the strikeout at EY. And Mark hits it in the air, and it's a long run in left field for Chris Denorfia, but he has the ability to play center field, and you saw it right there. Chris got to the baseball, and there are 2 outs. So that's 11 in a row set down by Anthony Bass out of the chute. Now Dexter Fowler will come up. He grounded to short his first time. Coming up on Toyota Talk, we'll do it in the 6th inning, and we ask you to tell us your favorite moment from Coors Field in 2011. Send that to 720-720. Center field, Maben will go back. And he lost it in the sun. It hops over the wall to be a ground rule double. I'm assuming he lost it in the sun. He was cruising along like he's going to make the catch.
I thought he froze at the beginning when the ball was hit, then didn't recognize how far. Now Anthony Bass could go, well, did my no-hitter, did I lose it? Well, he hit it 400 feet. You know, and it was on the line, but I thought that Maben lost it off of the bat because he froze at impact with Dexter. Good back leg drive. Look at that extension down, elbows tight, everything's good. And a swing to center field. But I thought, see, he froze for just a second and then he went back on it. You know, and as a pitcher, you're sitting here going, that could have been my no-hitter if he would have caught the baseball. Well, guess what? He climbed the wall once already and made a catch on a ball off Seth Smith back in the 2nd inning to prevent your no-hitter to keep intact. So
Tulowitzki now 0 for 5 against Anthony Bass. That's a double for Dexter Fowler. He's safe at second, safe and secure. New York Life. Dexter with his 34th extra base hit since the All-Star break. That's tied with 3 others for first in the National League. Ryan Braun, Joey Votto, and Justin Upton. That's a group you want to be a part of. Whatever they're doing, you want to be with them, right?
Absolutely.
Hey, I'll be with those guys. Put me in that club. There's the 1-1 to Troy off the end of the bat. It's 1-2. And, you know, just watching Maben on that ball, George, it obviously got lost in the sun because he was in position to make the catch.
Bronson Arroyo threw a shutout today for Cincinnati, 2-0 over Houston. Here's what Drew's talking about. Watch when he breaks back on this ball. Took a little bit of an odd angle, then he turned up and he turned his head. Had the glove up just for a second and as kind of a turn of protection.
Slider away.
Arizona over Pittsburgh 3-0 in the 3rd inning. Whoop, looks like Pittsburgh might have scored. Either that or the guy stuck his head out to watch the game.
Exactly.
I'm not sure which one it is. I think he's just watching the game. You think he's watching the game, Drew? Or you think he's changing?
Well, you know, I'm seeing a lot of empty spaces there, so I'm saying they scored.
Yep, they did. 1. There you go.
There's a 1. Now I'll watch from a different slot now. Hand operated scoreboard and right. That was a great feature. Great idea that they put in here. The stadium opened in '95. Next year, George, when we go to Florida, it'll be the Miami Marlins. And Coors Field, as immaculate as it remains, will be the 3rd oldest stadium in the National League.
And that's something.
Wrigley the oldest, Dodger Stadium number 2, and then Coors Field. 2-2 on Tulowitzki with 2 outs. And Troy pops this up. And in right field, Hamida will make the catch. So Dexter Fowler with a double. As we go to the 5th inning, it's 4-0 Padres. dugout. Trace, before we ask you anything, very quickly, thank you very much for doing this, because I know the last thing you want to do in the middle of the ball game is talk to us.
Well, that's not necessarily the case. The middle of the ball game part is true, but you know, working with you guys, that guy sitting next to you, Jeff Hewson, Mark Stout, everybody from Root Sports, you know, it's a pleasure to be with you guys day in and day out.
Well, we appreciate it. Very quickly, Aaron Cook, after a rough start, maybe a little rusty, he's turned into top receiver. He's punching everybody out.
Well, you know something, all you do is look at the first inning versus the past three, and the ball was up in the zone. The sinker was side to side, no depth to it. In the last 3 innings, he's got depth to the sinker, and he's throwing his breaking ball effectively for strikes.
Yeah, one of those games you want to hit the delete switch, Skip. Going back over and try to get a W out of this thing.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, Trace, thank you. Kristen Orphea in the 5th inning. A bunt single and a fly ball to right. And he takes down a little bit. Now, one of the nicest people you will ever meet in any occupation, Jim Tracy.
He is. You know, some people say too nice. You know, and I don't necessarily agree with that. He's not a guy that's going to rip players in the paper. He doesn't like to kick trash cans and turn things over. He tries to discuss what he has a problem with individually with those players to try to make them better players, to make his team a better team.
And I'll say this, George, and you know this to be true about Trace. He will never embarrass a player publicly.
No.
But everybody who sees, you know, this wonderful demeanor of Jim's and how genuinely nice a person he is, behind closed doors, when he needs to send a message, he does it, whether it's in front of the whole team or individually. So for those that just see or hear him on Root Sports and think, well, he never gets angry, and sometimes you know you do have to get angry, and sometimes you do have to motivate or light a fire. He does that. He just doesn't do that so the whole world can look in, because he believes that should happen in private.
Not a believer of that. You know, there's other guys that want to go in the papers and rip everybody and do all the things that they do, and I just don't gain anything by that.
Chase Headley with a 1-1 count. And he's badly fooled. Honest to goodness, George, Aaron Cook, if you wipe out that first inning, this is as good as we've seen him pitch this
all
year.
Year long. Yeah, it really is. And you know, again, Aaron, I'm sure wanted to finish on a high note. He got settled in. There's another one. He got settled in on the fact that after that first inning, hey, I'm not getting embarrassed. I'm going to change the thing of this.
When was the last time he punched out 8 in a ball game? That's not his MO.
I think it was Asheville in 1999. He struck out 8 a couple of times in his career. The last, imagine who that was against, San Diego.
This in
09.
That tied a career high.
Yeah, I hope he breaks it. Why not? Not this inning. It'll be a long throw. Got him.
Aaron Cook is rolling. Now the Rockies have to get the offense on track. to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By McDonald's, brighten up your day with a free small premium roast coffee at McDonald's only until September 25th. And by the Courtyard by Marriott on the 16th Street Mall. Ask about our hometown sports package. Home finale 2011. Rockies trailing the Padres 4-0. They're trying to snap a 6-game losing streak with George Frazier and Alana Rizzo. I'm Drew Goodman. Anthony Bass has been terrific. Hey, there's another guy with purple hair.
You never did go get the purple hair. I was a little disappointed. I told you I'd get it with you.
No, I haven't done that yet. Seth Smith will lead it off against Bass. He was robbed of perhaps a home run his last at bat. Would have been very close. Cameron Maben climbed the wall in center field, and looks like he brought one back that may have just crept over the center field wall. Shift is on. Here's the 1-0. It's our Coors Light freeze cam. Maben fooled me because I'm watching live. I didn't see the ball disappear into his glove, and then he kind of said, "Oh, I didn't get it, I didn't get it." And then he showed everybody the baseball. But you know, the baseball gods got him, because a couple innings later, Dexter Fowler hit a ball that it looked like he should have caught, and he didn't. It's the only hit given up by Bass. And not that Maben is rooting for the Rockies to get hits, but I'm sure he'd like to see at some point maybe a 2-out clean single.
Right now, you better believe it. Yeah.
That is the only blemish for Bass through 4 innings. This is a ground ball that's going to be backhanded by the second baseman Perino, and Seth Smith's out. News today from the Rockies: on Saturday in Houston, Jason Hamill will get another start. He has pitched well out of the pen. He had a spot start recently and pitched very, very well. Jim Tracy's going to reward him.
Well, he needs to be rewarded, and quite honestly, folks, they need to have him in their rotation next year. I mean, there's not that many free agent pitchers out there. Nothing on the horizon immediately that's going to step in. So you know what? Why not?
Jordan Pacheco, and that is a clean base hit in the direction of Cameron Maben. Second hit for the Rockies. Well, for me, the brightest spot over the last couple of weeks for the Rockies has been the play of Jordan Pacheco offensively. He's had to bounce around between first and third on the defensive end, and he's, you know, work in progress in both of those spots. But George, he's really swung it well.
What's been impressive is who he has done it against. San Francisco Giants ran out their best because they're trying to stay in this thing and win it and get into the playoffs. It wasn't like in spring training facing a AA guy, a AAA guy. That was the boys, and he swung it out well.
Low throw, and Rizzo gobbled it up. It's a 4-6-3. Pacheco went in hard. He's okay. 4-0 Padres. Time for our Suzuki news and notes. Yesterday, Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers beat Tim Lincecum and the Giants 2-1. Kershaw won his 20th, second National League pitcher to reach that plateau, both in the NL West. Ian Kennedy reached it earlier in the week, and it's the first Dodger in 21 years to produce a 20-win season. For the Reds, Scott Rowland, he's had an injury-plagued year. He's going to be shut down for the season. Johnny Cueto has the lowest ERA in the National League, but he's battled some injuries. He's shut down for the season. And reportedly, Bob Melvin, the former Diamondback skipper, will be signing a 3-year deal to remove the interim tag to head the Oakland A's. Well, the afternoon for Aaron Cook is done. He tied a career high with 8 strikeouts, and he gives way to Matt Reynolds in the 6th, and obviously Troy Tulowitzki, you just saw in the picture. His afternoon is done, and Tommy Field is in at shortstop. The last Dodger, by the way, to win 20 games, Pedro Martinez's brother Ramon.
Boy, that's a tough point. Ellis says, you know what, Tommy, you just came in the game for Tulowitzki. I'll catch it for you. Now, Matt Reynolds comes into the ball game, 70th appearance for him, and I think if you ask him, left-handers have hit him a little harder than what he anticipated this year, and it's something he's going to have to clean up for next year. He's thrown 47 in the 3rd innings, good earned run average. Against right-handers, and that's something again that I just mentioned against the left-handers, tough lefties. You're going to need somebody, and he could be that guy again, obviously next year. But he needs to work a little bit different against some lefties. Field's going to get his chance in the high sky. You let Ellis take the first, he'll take the second. But Matt Reynolds did a really good job of handling left-handers when he came up last year at the beginning of their year this year. Continue to do just the same. Well, Aaron Cook's back out into the dugout. He'd stepped down earlier, but came out here. And, for Aaron, like we said, he'd like to hit that delete switch on the 1st inning. And, match up those last 4.
Well, some memories for people going by. Saw somebody that spent Father's Day here with their family. Drew Pomerantz's debut on 9/11. I don't know about my foul ball catch. Ty Wigginton. Andy in Bayside, Queens. Tommy Field is playing. Well, we thank all of you for tuning in every night, and for all of you for participating all season long on Toyota Talk. We've enjoyed many of your comments. 4-0 Padres.
6th inning. I want to talk a little bit more about San Diego Padres infielder Jesus Guzman, who was actually in the starting lineup today but was a late scratch for the Padres. He grew up in Venezuela, and like many of our own Colorado Rockies, he idolized fellow infielder and countryman Edgardo Alfonzo, an all-star Silver Slugger with the Mets in the late 90s, who continued to put up impressive numbers, guys, with the Giants late in his career. The two cross paths playing against each other in the Venezuelan Winter League. He also looks up to Alex Rodriguez of the Yankees because he admires his work ethic, and that is the one thing Bud Black has liked so much about this player, is the fact that he works so hard not only to get back here with the Padres, to stay here. Where do you guys see him fitting in possibly next year with San Diego?
Well, if he swings the bat like he did in the second half, Alana, especially on a team that's starved for guys that can produce offensive numbers, they'll find a space, and he is versatile. You're kind of touching on that. Depends on for me, how Rizzo develops, because Guzman right now has the leg up at first base, going into spring training next year, but he has the versatility to go out to a corner outfield spot also. But that bat, the way he swung it in the second half, you got to find a spot for him. Chris Iannetta, Tommy Field, and then the top of the order in Eric Young. Rockies have just 2 hits, a Pacheco single in the 5th and a Dexter Fowler double in the 4th.
One thing I look for with these young pitchers like Anthony Bass, I want to see how you handle the 6th and 7th inning, because so many guys are programmed, all right, I can throw whatever amount of pitches, I'm only going to throw 90 per start. And once they get past the qualifying stage of a game sometimes, and I'm not saying Bass does this, but some young pitchers will, regardless of pitch count, they get into the 6th inning and they start peeking towards that dugout to see if they're going to get taken out of a ball game.
Well, he's on a pitch count only because he's been working on the pen, George, but he threw 45 pitches in the first 5 innings.
He's only got 51 total now. I guess the point it's not today on the pitch count with a guy like him. My point is it something you're teaching or programming a kid, a young pitcher, to go timeout, I'm at certain pitch count right now. Bud Black's going to the bullpen. See, I don't get that. I really don't. I mean, if you're going to take him out, if one guy gets on, then don't have him start the 5th and have somebody come into that problem. It's not a knock on Bud, but I see guys do it everywhere in baseball. So what? Okay, it's mandatory. You throw 50 pitches today and you walk the first guy. What if you get him out? It's no different.
Well, Anthony Bass could. Sports is brought to you by Sonic. You've got 2 hands for a reason. Put the kick and coney in one and the bacon and Blue Dog in the other. They're new and only at Sonic for $1.99. And by Verizon, America's largest and most reliable wireless network. Great shot. 4-0 Padres. Bottom of the 6th inning. Rockies have the leadoff man on, a Chris Iannetta walk. He leads the club in walks. Tommy Field is at the plate against Ernesto Gutierrez Frieri, a native of Colombia.
Well, he's done a heck of a job for their ball club. Pitched last night in 55 games he's pitched in on the year. Very fine earned run average in almost nearly 60 innings.
Frieri turned 26 on July 19th. He signed when he was 17 back in January of 2003. And he's actually been with the Padre organization longer than anybody else that's currently on their roster. Second longest is Tim Stauffer. 2 balls and a strike. Two and one on Tommy Field. Big jump for Iannetta. He shocked everybody. Chris has a stolen base. I think the Rockies honestly do the surprise steal better than any team we've seen in the National League this year, George.
6 stolen base for Chris. He's surprised him a few times out of 9 attempts this year. Another one, Ty Wigginton does a lot of the same things. Seth Smith, a look back two by Iannetta, so you wonder maybe if there was a missed sign as he looked halfway down.
Tommy Field, the strikeout victim. 1 out. That'll bring up Eric Young. Well, high school football has returned. It's in full swing, as I'm sure you're aware. And it's also returned to Root Sports this year. We've got complete coverage of some of the best rivalries in the state. And we are your exclusive home for the 4A and 5A championship games. We kick things off Thursday, September 29th, 7:30. It's the Mullen Mustangs against the Bear Creek Bears. The best of high school football on Root Sports. EY's 0 for 2. And Bear Creek's got a tremendous player in Sean Flanagan. There's a base hit to left. And that'll stop at third. Rockies with their 3rd knock. That'll bring up Mark Ellis. Joe Thatcher getting ready. First time today the Rockies have had 2 men on base.
Well, if you haven't stopped by the dugout stores, you should. It's baseball season all the time. From tickets to the best selection of Rockies apparel, the dugout stores are where Rockies fans shop year-round. Go to 303-832-TEAM and find out the nearest location to you.
Junior takes off. And another stolen base for Eric. He leads the club. Carlos Gonzalez with 20 stolen bases.
He just got a ridiculous jump there. No room for Martinez to do anything.
4th stolen base for Ewott. Look out. Oh, boy, that almost got Dexter Fowler in the on-deck circle.
He dropped everything like he did get hit. I'm not sure he didn't know he didn't get hit till the ball went away from him.
Well, you're on that open side. You got to pay attention. 1-2. 2-2. That Junior's ratio, George. He's got 24 stolen bases. He's been caught only 3 times. And number 2 on the team, Carlos Gonzalez, 20 out of 25. Job by Ellis, spoiling that 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Today's the day you always see a ton of boxes in the clubhouse, guys cleaning out their lockers. Obviously the Rockies concluded the season on the road. Windshield damage, call Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, online at safelite.com. Rockies trailing 4-0. Now hit 6-3. All 4 runs for San Diego in the first inning when they hit around. Aaron Cook was terrific after that first. Matched a career high with 8 strikeouts. And he did it while pitching 5 innings. Another foul ball.
16 pitches, so he's faced 2 batters. Talking about Frary, and a lot of those have been here to Ellis. He keeps fighting it off, fighting it off.
You know, Mark was hitting .217 with the A's when he was traded to the Rockies. He's at .274 in a Rockies uniform.
New locker room, change of scenery. The results have been pretty good. This one's going to stay in the infield.
2 outs. That'll bring up Dexter. Chris Nelson's come out in the on-deck circle. That's a pitcher spot. Troy Tulowitzki started, got a couple of at-bats, and Jim Tracy sticking to the plan. He said Tulo would not play the whole game. He played basically half the game. First hit for the Rockies. Dexter Fowler, a high line drive to deep center field, and Fowler, or excuse me, Maben looked like he lost it in the sun, and he comes on and makes this catch. So the Rockies leave 2 in scoring position, Iannetta and Young. 4-0 as we go to the 7th. of the Cooney Lexus look back. First inning did not go well for Aaron Cook. It did go well for San Diego. They loaded the bases and produced a couple of sac flies to get their first couple of runs home. And then they would start throwing out some timely hits and hitting around in the first inning. Anthony Rizzo driving in a run there with a base hit. The Padres got 4 in the first. Anthony Bass went 5+. He was outstanding. And as we've arrived at the 7th inning, it remains 4-0 Padres. That look back brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. Matt Lindstrom will pitch the 7th. Matt Reynolds pitched a perfect 6th inning. And Aaron Cook got the final 8 batters he faced. Jason Bartlett is going to pinch hit for Frieri.
Matt Lindstrom's on to throw for the Rockies. This ball a jam shot out of the reach of Ellis. And leadoff single here in the 7th.
Sandy Alderson is talking about bringing in the fences. They're studying it, at least at Citi Field.
Not a lot of home runs. Of course, they've all complained about it. David Wright had all those home runs over at Shea, and then he came there and hadn't been much fun for him to swing it there. So now they're starting to look at the fences, how high they are in certain areas.
Only 2 parks relinquishing fewer home runs than 1.32 that Citi Field relinquishes. AT&T Park in San Francisco, and the Padres facility, Petco Park. Here's the 0-1 on Maben. That's on the outside corner slider. It's 0-2. Ellis, good hands. Fast hands from Mark Ellis as he's able to turn it over on Cameron Maben. Field, Ellis to Pacheco, 6-4, 3-2 gone in the 7th.
Well, to Thomas Field, I mean, you haven't played with this guy much, maybe 5 or 6 ball games, but it's the comfortable. He makes Ellis feel a little bit comfortable, and vice versa. He realizes by talking to Ellis, where do you want that feed? How do you want me to feed it to you?
Hermida fouls off the first pitch.
153rd double play turned this year by the Rockies. That's second in the National League to St. Louis, who has 159. Let us take a look at Matt Lindstrom's numbers on the season as he came on here to pitch the 7th inning. 58 ball games, 306 earned run average, 50 innings pitched. He's had a couple of saves. Out of those 5 opportunities, he had one big one when the Rockies were on a roll at Shea Stadium.
And Lindstrom strikes out Jeremy Hermida. This ball game flying along. Rockies, though, trail it 4-zip. At 10:30 on Rockies All Access, take a look at the friendship that's grown between Carlos Gonzalez and Johnny Herrera. From being boyhood friends and playing in the big leagues together. Learn how these two competitive guys learned the game in Venezuela, Maracaibo to be exact. Amigos for life, 10:30 tomorrow on Rockies All Access. Alberto Gonzalez moves from short to third. Jason Bartlett, who pinch hit, stays in the ball game at shortstop. And the new pitcher is one of the better setup men in the game, Luke Gregerson.
Boy, is he ever. I mean, you talk about a guy that pounds his zone. He does just that. Not necessarily overpowering stuff, but it's the movement on the fastball and then his ability to paint with that secondary stuff. 53 1/3 innings over 58 games. Again, it's kind of one of those things in San Diego, if they have on the winning side of things, their bullpen is as good as anybody's in baseball.
Chris Nelson's going to be the pinch hitter. And Nelly takes strike one. One of the amazing things about this year at home, the Rockies 38-42. If they lose this ball game, they'll match the 04 team for the poorest record ever at Coors Field, 38-43. Only 3 walk-off wins in 2011, which is amazing, George, because with the Rockies, you expect about 2 a month.
That is pretty amazing, the numbers you're talking about.
When you think back to all the dramatic wins that sit near the forefront of the memory bank, and this year it seemed like forever before the Rockies got their first. This ball is toward the gap in left center field. It'll be cut off there by DeNorfia. A base hit for Chris Nelson against Gregerson. I'll bring up Seth Smith. Matt Belisle is getting loose in the Rockies bullpen. And there's Jim Tracy. Jim in meeting with the media, and there was pretty large contingent, this being the final home game. A lot of different media entities were represented today, and he said very emphatically, get over yourself. He's talking about his team. He said next year, he goes, it's about winning these tight games, about whatever you have to do, advancing the baseball. I think he was thinking back to May, how the Rockies, just certain situations, all they needed to do at times was get the ball in play, and a run would have scored from third. It may have been the difference between a win and a loss. And he proclaimed, get over yourself if you want to be here. And basically he was saying it's got to be unselfish 1 through 25. And he wasn't singling anybody out or saying that, you know, guys were, you know, just playing for numbers, that sort of thing. But he said this cupboard's not bare. He said we have 2 of the very best players in the game on this club, Troy Tulowitzki and Carlos Gonzalez. He had high praise for the emergence of Dexter Fowler. He said this thing could be fixed overnight.
Well, it all comes down to pitching. Everybody's got to get healthy and get to the point of where you think you can beat some people with your starting pitching. And Dan O'Dowd was quoted today in the paper, Arizona's going to have 3 200-inning pitch guys. That's huge. You know, when you think about that, and the Rockies aren't going to have any. Where it really makes a difference, Drew, in what you're talking about in one-run games, you don't have a tired bullpen all the time if you've got starters working into the 7th inning.
Well, not only that, George, you look at yesterday how dominant the bullpen was. This ball is in the air to left, and a nice catch by DeNorfia. But the bullpen yesterday was dominant because there's a number of arms down there. So when Jim Tracy called on Belisle, Brothers, and Betancourt, they were well rested. And what'd you get? You got a 1-2-3 inning from that man, Matt Belisle. You got another dominant inning from Brothers. He punched out 2. And Rafael Betancourt struck out the side on 10 pitches. I was kidding him. I said, what happened? You had to throw 1 extra.
3 innings, no hits, 5 strikeouts by the bullpen yesterday. And that's the type of performance you need.
Right. Good pitchers who, to your point, George, well rested.
Well, you're not going to be well rested if you're going to have to make shift your way all the way through a game when a starter goes 5 1/3. It doesn't happen that way.
Jordan Pacheco base hit his last time up. To third. Five, 4, 3 double play. We'll go to the 8th inning. Padres shutting out the Rockies 4-0. Padres up 4-0, top of the 8th inning. Matt Belisle will take over for Colorado. Here's more from Jim Tracy's press conference today prior to the ball game.
We need to get over ourselves and do what it is that's necessary to win the game. And that applies to everybody. Every single player that's in that room, that will remain in that room, we need to understand that. Because if, in fact, we gain a hell of a lot greater understanding of it than we have right now, we'll turn this around like that.
We were mentioning earlier that folks at home don't always see that fire, but believe me, it exists in the belly of Jim Tracy, and you got a little bit of a feel for it there.
That was a pretty good message he threw out there. Smitty really fighting the sun out in right field, able to make the play here in the top of the 8th inning. You send a little bit of a message. If you listen to that, really listen to that, it kind of told me that he has a feeling in there that if you're here, it's all going to be about team. It's not going to be all about yourself and what you do.
Aaron Cunningham is going to pinch hit. Chase Headley was removed from the ball game, double switch, so this is the pitcher spot. Cunningham, a 2-run home run a couple of days ago. Two-strike count. 31,457 today on the final day of the home portion of the schedule. Cunningham is gone. And the Rockies will draw an average of just under, just a smidgen under 36,000 fans per ball game here in 2011. A big thank you.
Well, something Matt Belial's done all year long and had been used in multiple roles out of the bullpen is pound the strike zone. He might not be happy with results some nights, but most of the nights he's pretty good coming out of that gate in right field.
Here's the 0-2, and Luis Martinez takes ball one. The Rockies will draw just over 2.9 million. Fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more runs for the Rockies Taco Special, here's what you do. Text the keyword taco to 720-720. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Martinez. And this ball is slashed foul. The Padres, by virtue of their 2-1 win last night, have won this series, and they took the Diamondbacks 2 out of 3. It's the first time they've won back-to-back series since June. In the corner, and that is a foul ball. Rockies, as they traditionally do at the end of this ball game, will take a lap around the field and sign autographs, send jerseys home with some fans. Nice tradition. Three and 2. Rockies lead the series in series 9-8. The Padres. This is the one team in the division the last 4 or 5 years that they have really performed well against, consistently well against, and obviously for the Rockies it begins on the road. They, for whatever reason, always play good baseball at Petco. Not the case at Chase Field in Phoenix, Dodger Stadium in LA, or AT&T Park in San Francisco. Alberto Gonzalez with 1 on and 2 outs. Yankees came from behind and beat Tampa 4-2. And the Yankees, with that win, heading to the postseason guaranteed again. Not that there was any drama behind that. For the 16th time in the last 17 years.
Starting to act an awful lot like those Atlanta Braves did in all those years. Not sure they have the pitching this year. They got the bullpen, but I don't know about starting pitching if it's deep enough to get them to that final series of the season, the World Series.
Sabathia and Nova, and then who knows? Just got him at first. Good play by Matt Belial. So Gonzalez is gone, and we'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning with San Diego ahead 4-0. All 4 runs in this ball game in the top of the 1st. Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. Aaron Cook making the final home start of 2011, roughed up in the first inning for 4 runs as the Padres hit around. After that, Cook was sensational. He would strike out 8 batters in 5 innings. The only problem is Anthony Bass was even better. 2 hits over 5 innings. Walked 1, struck out 1. And then the Padre bullpen has been good since then. So the Rockies, with 6 outs to work with, trailing 4-0 as you look again at our Ecotech Institute game summary. Kevin Kuzminoff, Chris Iannetta, and Tommy Field. New pitcher is Chad Qualls.
Yeah, back in a comfortable role this year, and it's reflective of his job done pretty well here. 328 earned run average, was tried as a closer a year ago with the Arizona Diamondbacks, then on down to Tampa, and now back with the San Diego Padres, where he pitched a number of years in a very successful setup role. Heavy sinker, hard slider, 2-pitch mix coming out of the bullpen.
One and one on Kevin Kuzminoff. Ground ball to third, and he hit into a 1-4-3 double play. Loop to short right, but a nice catch made by Andy Perino. Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. In the 4th inning, Dexter Fowler spoke one to center field. Cameron Maben looked like he was going to be able to make a play, and then perhaps lost it in the sun. A double for Fowler, the Rockies' first hit against Anthony Bass at the time. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Love to tell you about a home run, but nothing to speak of. Chris Iannetta lifts this ball down the right field line, and it will be well out of play. So the Yankees helping the Red Sox again with their 4-2 win over Tampa. The Red Sox just 5-15 in the month of September. They'll be playing at Fenway against Baltimore later. Arizona beating up the Pirates 8-2 now. Cubs earlier beat Milwaukee 7-1. Atlanta will be in Florida again. They have a 2.5 game lead in the wild card. St. Louis home to the Mets. Two and two.
That heavy sinker right on the knuckles, man, and you're not going to do a whole lot with it. It looks like a very hittable pitch right out in front, and it just starts to run and bite on the back.
2 outs, and Tommy Field will come up. Came into the ballgame for Tulowitzki in the 6th inning, got a struck out. So this will be his second at bat.
Well, fantasy camp, it's right around the corner, and it's at the brand new Salt River Field complex that the Rockies share with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Make sure you sign up for that 2012 fantasy camp. That talking stick stick, give the Rockies a call at 303-312-CAMP for more information, or go on your computer to ColoradoRockies.com. It's January 24th through the 28th.
Tommy Field hits it on the ground to Alberto Gonzalez. And the Rockies again go very quietly. We'll move to the 9th inning in the home finale, 4-0 San Diego. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Pretty day, not a pretty picture at Coors Field. Rockies trailing the Padres 4-0 as we have arrived at the top of the 9th inning. Tom Helmer with a preview of the Toyota postgame show. Tom.
Drew, being the last home game of the season, our producer wanted to do Slapping the Bass Man. It's from the movie I Love You, Man. It really doesn't make sense, but Anthony Bass did have a big game today. We'll be talking about him. Also, Cook K Monster. How about Aaron Cook tying a career high in strikeouts? We'll talk about him as well and what may be his last appearance in a Colorado Rockies uniform. It's all coming up on the Toyota postgame show. Drew?
All right, Tom. We will look forward to that. We'd also love to see the Rockies rally because, George, they've lost all 6 games on this homestand. They have never been blanked on a homestand.
Well, I'm not going to try to make you feel really bad here, but they've only led 2 innings in this whole homestand in the games. So, yeah, I'd like to see it happen. Greg Reynolds going to come on and make an appearance, his 12th of the season, working out of the bullpen. Trying to have a 1-2-3-8. He'll face a lot of guys he's seen this year. Rizzo, Marino, 2 guys that have worked at AA, AAA levels this year. Here to start off, top of the 9th inning.
Anthony Rizzo's 1 for 3, an RBI single in the first. That's ball 1. One ball, 1 strike. And it's 1-2. Rockies have had a 1-7 homestand, a 1-6 homestand, a 1-5 homestand all time. Never 0-7 as Rizzo has his 2nd hit of the ball game. And interestingly, George, all of the worst homestands that the Rockies have ever suffered through, 3 of the 5 were in their inaugural season, which makes some sense at Mile High Stadium.
Yeah.
And then the other 2, 99 and 98. Nothing in the last 11 years at Coors Field. Nothing like this. Shows you how much the Rockies rely on Tulowitzki and Gonzalez, and this year Todd Helton. I mean, most years Todd Helton. Obviously Todd's battled some back issues, battling it again right now. But without those 3, the offense has been absent.
Yeah, very difficult. I mean, to score a lot of runs, get a lot of men on base. He's had a couple little spurts here and there, but not a whole lot. And those are things that are out of control of a manager and general manager. When guys get hurt, you just hope they can heal up. Last thing you need to do is try to play them in one of these ball games where it ends up lingering through the winter, where you can't do your normal workouts, cost you time getting ready for spring training.
Andy Perino at the plate, runner going, and it's fouled off. Bud Black playing a little hit and run. Yeah, this may catch some people by surprise also, because the Rockies have always played good baseball here at Coors Field. There's only been 2 homestands of at least 2 teams coming in for 3 games apiece where the Rockies went unbeaten. 96, they went 7-0 against the Padres and Giants, who they are facing on this homestand and staring perhaps at an 0-7 homestand. And in 2002, against the 2 Pennsylvania teams, Philly and the Pirates, they went 6-0. A couple of years ago in September, when they made that glorious run, Mets, Diamondbacks, and Reds came in, and the Rockies won 9 of 10. 2-2 on Perino. Swung on and missed, so Greg Reynolds strikes out Perino.
Looked like back-to-back changeup. Sure was. 81 miles an hour, and he got Perino to chase that one. He got the punch out. Good pitch there. Some late fade on it. Gave it the sinker type action, but about 7 to 8 miles an hour less velocity. Got him out on that front foot, swing and a miss.
Jason Bartlett singled, pinch hitting the 7th, and has stayed in the ball game at short. He's out front. I want to brag about the Rockies bullpen for a moment. First of all, Rafael Betancourt, his numbers, I was visiting after the ball game yesterday with Jim Tracy. I said, you know, his numbers are stupid. They're ridiculous. And he said, that's a perfect way of describing it. The league is 6 for 81 against Rafael Betancourt in the second half. 6 hits, 81 at bats.
Total dominance.
And he has struck out 34 and walked 1, 36 and walked 1. Overall, this is fouled off. The Rockies bullpen has a 3.14 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio, which is the best in baseball this year, National League or American League. And I'll tell you how good it is. It's the 4th best ratio for a bullpen since 2000. That's why, again, heavy emphasis. You heard Dan O'Dowd discussing it in the paper today, and Jim Tracy discussing it with the media. That the Rockies have to get some health out of their rotation and find some people who can work a significant number of innings. It's always referred to as, you know, that 200 inning plateau is big. And if you get that, you use the bullpen when you want to, not when you have to. And when it's rested, there's a lot of talent down there. There's the 0-2. It's high, 1-2. Boy, George, you worked down there for a decade in the big leagues. The biggest thing for me is if you're going to get beat with the guy holding the bat as opposed to putting guys up.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the big key. You just got to come in and pound the strike zone. If they throw it out there, they throw it out there.
1-2 on Bartlett, and Bartlett is 2 for 2. Rizzo stops at second, and Maben will come up. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. May have been a double in the first inning to get the Padres going. They scored all 4 runs in the first inning. In fact, 4 of their 7 hits prior to this inning were in the first inning. Now they've picked off a couple more hits. They've out-hit the Rockies 9-4 in the contest. Off the end of the bat, Smith will make the catch. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Jeremy Hermida.
Follow the Rockies with MLB.com at Bat11 app featuring highlights and more. Text at bat to 31826. Hermida's had a little bit of a whirlwind this year. Cincinnati by AAA, Cincinnati, AAA, waivers picked up. Getting a chance here with the Padres.
A walk and 3 punch outs today. That is a foul ball.
That's pretty close. You get to that ball a little bit sooner, you might have kept it in fair territory. It'll be good for Greg Reynolds to hopefully, when I say hopefully, have a 1-2-3 inning here. When I say 1-2-3, not giving up any runs was what I should say. He's had a difficult time working out of the bullpen. I'm all right. Drew's looking at me funny again, folks. Not the first time I've looked over and he's looked at me funny. It's happened a lot. Reminds me of Jim Fry's story when he came to the mound. You get runners first and second, 1 out, get us a double play. And I said, aren't they full and there's no outs? Go to the dugout. And Jody Davis looked at me like, is he really watching the game?
0-2 on one hop to Mark Ellis. There's your 1-2-3 sort of inning.
1-2-3 sort of inning and no runs. That's the key.
That is the key. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Rockies trailing 4-zip. inning. Last opportunity for the Rockies to avoid an 0-7 homestand. Final game of 2011 at Coors Field. And the Rockies will have Eric Young, Mark Ellis, and Dexter Fowler at the top of their order. Joe Thatcher's now out there, the left-handed specialist for the Padres.
Well, here he is, Joe Thatcher, injured an awful lot this season. 16th game for him to appear in. I'll guarantee you they'll get a Heath Bell or someone going right behind him if he does get in trouble.
Eric Young, a single. His last time up, he's 1 for 3. There's something else about the Rockies that I think is emblematic of how this season's gone, George. They've been outscored in the 9th inning, 53-39 this year. That's going to be a good start, though. A base hit for Ewok. Back-to-back 2-hit performances for Eric Young. Oh, look at all those goodies that will be soon distributed to the Purple Faithful. Mark Ellis at the plate. Mark takes a strike. Ground ball to short, fly ball left field, pop to short. Ellis came into the ballgame a career .310 average in September. Say another oddity so far about this 2011 season. The Rockies have had a longer winning streak on the road this year than they've had at home.
That's not good.
No, they won 6 straight. That first series on the road, Pittsburgh and New York. Their longest winning streak at home, 5 games in August, way inside. Longest winning streak overall was 7 games. Again, that was back in April. Mita in right. 1 out. And Dexter Fowler will come up, this time from the right side. That's a double. And 3 opportunities today. Earlier I said it was 3 walk-off wins this year for the Rockies. Actually 5 walk-off wins. And this is up the middle and on through, a base hit. Junior will go first to third.
Almost like an excuse me swing from Dexter Fowler. Bud Black. Looking at this, yeah, swing didn't look like a full swing. Kind of just came and the ball was eating him up to the inside. Kind of pushed the swing through and it snuck through that right side and on into the outfield. And the Rockies, with 1 out, runners at first and third, and that'll be all for Mr. Thatcher. He gives up a couple of hits in a third of an inning.
So Rockies trying to make it interesting, and here comes Heath Bell. Brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. And today, in the final home game of 2011, we salute you, Rockies Nation. The fans who poured out throughout the season and catch us every night on Root Sports or every afternoon, as the case may be. We appreciate you, and all the players, everybody involved with the Rockies organization appreciates the great fan support. Again, an average of 36,000 per ball game this year at Coors Field. Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Well, the Rockies trying to put together one last special moment here at home. They trail 4-0. Ty Wigginton's going to pinch hit. Heath Bell's on the mound. They're 2 on. Fowler just singled. Young had singled to begin the inning. First and third, 1 out. Wigginton against Bell. Bell picked off his 40th save yesterday. It's 3 straight years of at least 40 saves now for the outstanding Padre closer.
Hoffman has 9 40 save seasons there with their ball club. Mark Davis just 1, and that was in '89 when he won the Cy Young Award.
He saved 47 last year. 3-time All-Star. One and 2, you have Smith on deck.
Tough time too right now with a short, snappy arm action, and you got those shadows from the light towers right across home plate. Makes it really difficult on the hitter to catch that ball. I mean, that ball's coming right across the middle of those. With Bell's arm action and his quick delivery, it makes it really difficult to pick the baseball up.
Bell against San Diego native Ty Wigginton. Got him with a slider on the outside corner.
Pretty nasty, real nasty. Not sure much that it caught the zone when it ended up, but going across, it was right there on the corner. That hard snap, and it did catch the zone according to the 4th strike zone. Right on the outside edge of the strike zone.
Seth Smith 0 for 3 today. 4 for his last 32 at the plate. And Dexter will move up. Now a word from the Padre dugout. 1-3 on the right side. Get that shift on again for Smith. One ball, 1 strike. Pacheco on deck. If Smith can reach. Cook started today. Gave up 4 in the first and then pitched beautifully after that.
Tied a career high in strikeouts with 8. Walked 2. 8 men on base. Unfortunately, 4 scored in the first inning.
Two and 2. Swung on, and the foul tip is held by Luis Martinez, and Heath Bell, with 2 punch-outs, earns his 41st save. The Rockies shut out in their 2011 home finale. The final score 4-0. And they finish their final homestand 0-7. That has never happened before. The winning pitcher's Anthony Bass. Aaron Cook takes a loss. He's 3-10. Again, Heath Bell with his 41st save. 7th time the Rockies have been shut out in 2011. Toyota postgame show is next.